Shoot your arrows! Cooper Kupp plucks it out of the air and gives the Rams the lead. Robert Woods, touchdown! LA! Goff goes crashing into the end zone. Aaron Donald almost beat the football there. Corey Littleton, have yourself a day. Picked off. Marcus Peters coming off the edge. And Ryan will be wrapped up by Clay Matthews. Everett in stride! Wow!
Franklin Myers gets his hand down there.
Little got a hand on it. Did he pick it? He did!
Racing down the sideline is Akeem Talib. Gurley for MVP! Touchdown LA!
Picked off by John Johnson.
Well, Dante Fowler, who is able to get to Breeze. Greg Zuerlein sends the Rams to the Super Bowl! LA will play for the Lombardi!
All right, join the show. We have Georgia defensive lineman Jon Ledbetter. How's it going, man? Thanks so much for coming on.
Appreciate you guys for having me, man. It's going good. It's going good. I've just been kind of winding down this whole draft process, waiting on the big day, man. Excited for it. Been waiting my whole life for it.
Yeah, absolutely. And, just to start this off, we just want to hear a little bit about how you got into the game of football.
Well, it's kind of a crazy story. I started football when I lived in Maryland. My mom was in the military, and we moved around a whole bunch. And I played pretty much every sport. And I actually got into football. I was in a smaller rec league with my brothers, and I was like a bigger kid. So, I got to play with the older boys, and I got to play with my older brothers. And I started off really not liking football. I told my mom, I wanted to play basketball. I didn't really like the game. And she's like, all right, well, you can do whatever you want. Moms always support whatever you want to do in life when you're a little kid, and always to the finish. She was like, all right, well, you don't have to play. And I ended up not playing on the team when the season started up. And they ended up winning, the whole thing. So they won, the championship. And I would just remember, my brothers were getting trophies, and I was just angry at myself because, I decided not to play. And, after that moment, I just played football for the rest of my life. I was probably about 5, 6 years old when, I kind of started watching the game. And then growing up, I didn't like it. Then I just kind of fell in love with it after that, just because I told myself, I'd never quit a sport ever again. And, football was definitely one that just kind of stuck after that.
Yeah, of course. And, growing up, was there a favorite NFL player you kind of looked up to?
Not particularly. I didn't really watch, NFL football. My favorite player was just my dad, he passed away before I was born. He played at Virginia Tech, though, and he was also a defensive end. He was a heck of a football player. I just kind of grew up, knowing him and knowing, football through him, and just kind of living through his image and, pictures and his videos and stuff like that. So that was my favorite player in life. I didn't really watch too much, specifically a certain guy. It was just kind of my dad, and it always has been.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I kind of want to know a little bit, about what it's been like to see your brother Jeremiah in the NFL as you enter the NFL. Has he had any, tips or pointers, or have you talked to him about it at all?
Honestly, the craziest thing is I don't even know. That's not my blood brother. So I don't even know if we're related. I always get that question though. Everyone's like, do you know Jeremiah Ledbetter? Are you guys related? So I have 2 older brothers, but one of them played with me at Georgia. His name is Joe. He's currently in the Army, and my other older brother is his name is Josh, and he does he's in corporate sales. But I don't know if me and Jeremiah are related. I don't think we are. I know Ledbetter is not a common name, and there's only 2 people that I know that have it. One is a reporter, and then the other one is him. So I never met him. I don't think we are related though.
Okay, it's funny because I wasn't entirely sure. We weren't entirely sure, but we thought maybe that we heard that you were.
No, it's fine. I literally get that question all the time though.
Well, and it's funny because I heard it. Well, I heard it at the Senior Bowl, right? People were talking about the Senior Bowl, and then I see on NFL.com, and this is why I don't look at other people's comparisons. I just make my own if I even have a player comparison. And NFL.com's comparison of you is Jeremiah. It's just like, did they literally take like the guy's name and it's like, oh yeah, that's a good comparison. Like, I don't know. It kind of cracks me up. But yeah, I mean. Oh, sorry. What was that?
I was gonna say, yeah, it's not the first time, and I honestly don't know. I don't think so. You know, my mom was like, "No, like you don't have a long lost brother." But I'm like, "Okay, are you sure?" But I don't know. Maybe I'll see him when I get to the league.
That's funny, and it's funny that you get asked that a lot. You'll just kind of take that on with you. But what was the main factor I want to ask you in choosing Georgia?
Family, man. It always has been. It's kind of been like my focal point for my life. All the big decisions in my life, my family's been there for me. Not just the positive ones, all the bad stuff too. You know, they've always helped me through things, and they've always been there without a doubt. And actually, when I was committed to Alabama for a little while, and my grandma, who passed away my freshman year at UGA, she actually ended up, injuring herself. She broke her hips and both her legs. She had a fall. She was an older woman. And I kind of became her caretaker for a while when I was in high school. And I was committed to Alabama at the time. And then I just kind of realized that I wanted to be close to home and I wanted to, be there for her and just kind of enjoy those moments with her for as long as I could. And then they kind of just added the icing on the cake when, they just told me that my older brother, who wanted to play football again, who'd been playing basketball for a while, went to Oak Hill Academy and just decided, he missed the physicality of football, who really was built exactly like me. They took a chance, and they gave him a full scholarship to play football, and they gave me a full scholarship as well, and I was also able to stay in state and, see my grandma whenever I wanted to, because, UGA is only an hour from my house, really like 50 minutes.
That's awesome. Yeah, I love that story. That's really cool. And, it's awesome that it was able to work out the way it did for sure. And I'm sure that you have a lot of favorite memories from your time playing at Georgia and, maybe a favorite play or a favorite game or just something off the field from your time playing college football. But is there any one memory that stands out to you as being your favorite?
Honestly, there's so many, but my favorite two would definitely be, the SEC championship versus Auburn. We took a loss to them earlier in the season when we were, at their stadium. They kind of beat up on us pretty bad. We got out physical and, out disciplined, and we just kind of didn't stay composed and play our game. And that had been like kind of our motto every year. I mean, every game that year, stay physical, be composed and be disciplined. And we didn't do that game. And to have the opportunity to come back, everyone called it the revenge tour, but it was just kind of us showing that, that we were a superior team and that we belonged, and the mix with everyone that they said was good, and we had to go out and prove that. And that was probably that and the Rose Bowl. The craziest two games of my life. Even just blocking that kick, blocking that punt, running it. When we did that, we had Quavo on the sidelines. He was also at the Rose Bowl too. Just having the state of Georgia kind of behind you, pushing for you and pulling for you. It was just amazing, to have that and just to be a part of that run. Even though we came up short in the end, it was just a surreal type season. Sacking Baker Mayfield in the Rose Bowl, winning in overtime with Sony running that touchdown in the last couple seconds, and I ran down the end zone just to meet him, and I thought I about died. I thought I ran a touchdown, and I was out of breath. I just collapsed in the end zone and just looked up at the sky, man, and I was just like, wow, we really just did that. Like, we really just came back, beat Baker Mayfield, who went on to be the first pick, and got it done. And I was about to go play in a national championship football game, and that was a great moment for me and the guys, and there was a lot of love in that locker room.
Yeah, I mean, that's awesome, man. You know, just being able to experience that and have, obviously, you know, you can, one of the reasons you go to Georgia for sure, you know, they're a great program, and, you know, to have taste that victory, you know, even before you get to the next level must be something else. But I mean, you definitely had a hand in that, so it's not like you just got there and you were given it. But, you know, with that being said, you know, being in the SEC, I want to ask you, who's the toughest player you went up against while in college?
I always get asked this question too, and it was crazy because the toughest player I ever played against actually happened to be on my team. You know, Isaiah Wynn, he was kind of a savage man, and he was a self-made savage, and he focused on the little things, but also, you know, added his own little pizzazz to the game, and you know, he put his heart into it, man. And he was a hard-working guy, and you know, not many people knew who he was, you know, until he got drafted, you know, in the first round to the Patriots, and I knew who he was the whole time. You know, I went up against him every day, and he gave me headaches. I gave him headaches, man, and we had fun, and it was friendly competition, you know, because we knew the harder we beat up on each other, the better we'd be in the game, and you know, we had some team run periods, and we would get into it, man, and it was always out of love, though, you know, and we always wanted to see each other succeed and wanted each other to do our best, and he was by far the hardest player I had to play against. And you know, in practice at Georgia, it's always got to be harder than the game. So that's why we won so many games. It was easier, but we dogged each other a lot, and we got each other. We gave each other good work, man. And he's doing great things now. He's healing up from his Achilles injury, and no doubt about it, he's gonna have a great year this year, man. And I'm excited for him.
Oh yeah, I want to, you know, jump in here real quick because you mentioned Isaiah Wynn, and I had really just started interviewing people last year in person. I had done plenty over the phone, but I went to the Senior Bowl for the first time, and he could tell I was nervous as could be, and you know, was one of the coolest guys I've ever met, honestly. And,
he's so down to earth, man. He's a great guy.
Oh yeah, I mean, like, everyone else is, because you know how the Senior Bowl, you know, media day works. Like it's kind of, you know, we all stare at you while you eat dinner or you eat lunch, and then you're like, oh yeah, just go and interview with this person, and you stand up. And it's kind of awkward. But with him, he called me like in their eating area and was like, hey man, like, you know, sit down and let's do the interview. And I was like, all right, cool, you know, and it was awesome to see him go in the first round. I felt, you know, devastated for him when he went down with that injury. But like you said, you know, he's only going to come back stronger, and I think he's going to be a perennial Pro Bowl player. So I'm really looking forward to him. And you know, I'm just glad that you mentioned him because I'm a huge fan of his, and he's come on this show technically. So
yeah, that's my boy, man. I actually just saw him this weekend at G-Day. So it was good to see him naked Tony.
Yeah, that's awesome. And, you know, speaking of the Senior Bowl, you know, you were there yourself. How was that experience?
I enjoyed myself. It was a great experience. It was a good week of work. You know, a couple of days just working and competing, you know, with the best of the best, especially in this draft class. And, you know, some underdogs who definitely, you know, came there with a chip on their shoulder. And I was one of those guys, you know. You know, people may say what they want about me. You know, some people say I'm undersized. Some people say, you know, I'm not fast enough to be a DN and stuff like that. But, you know, I came in there and I showed that, you know, I can compete with the best of the best regardless of, you know, what people say, because that's just in my nature. And I had a good time doing it, man. And I got to go out to one of the local elementary schools out there and spend some time with some kids. We went to special ed classroom, and that was one of the most, you know, just cherishable moments in my life. You know, I love that. I got to, you know, read a book to those kids and kind of give them some life advice, and, you know, basically told them, you know, I've been doubted. You know, people have, you know, kind of tried to shun me my whole life, and it's not about what people say about you, man. It's what you say about yourself and what you do to become who you want to be. And you know, no one can put a limit on you. You can only put a limit on yourself. And that's how I live my life, man. I just work hard. I do what I can, and, you know, I always try to do my best. I mean, that's all I can do. I gotta give the rest to God.
Yeah, I'm really glad that you said that. You're the only one, and I'm not like throwing shade at anyone that's come on here, of course, but you're the only one that brought up that, that visit, the visit with the kids on the Senior Bowl trip. I think everyone we've had on here for the Shrine game brought up the Shrine game, the Shriners Hospital, but you're the only one that's brought that up, and it's crazy because I just realized it when you were saying it. I was like, oh my God, no one's brought that up before. So, I think that's really cool, man. It was, obviously I was trying to get to interview you at the Senior Bowl. I think this is definitely a better setting. It's less chaos. I'm not getting a microphone shoved up my nose. So, everything I'm saying, Alexis is like, what are you talking about? Like, she hasn't gone yet, but John, you know exactly what I mean.
No, I do. I do. It gets hectic, man. It's fast. It's always fast-paced. And, I don't knock anybody else that came on the show and didn't even mention that because, when you're talking about football, it's always fast. You know what I mean? You kind of do everything the fast way, and people don't really take the time to just enjoy those small moments in life. And, that's the most important thing, man. It's not always just about football. It's about people. The people you get to meet and talk to in life. And I love the game of football, but, I love it more for what it's done for me, not what I've done for it, you know what I mean? And, hopefully I get to put my stamp and, leave my legacy on the football field, of course, in the NFL, but more importantly, I want to be, more than a football player, and football has given me so many opportunities, and it's changed my life for the better. And I'm just grateful for this game, man, and grateful for these opportunities just like this to, just sit and talk to cool people, man, and just be myself.
Absolutely. I love that answer. And, I really appreciate your, interest in what you can get back to football and just, your appreciation for it. I think that's really cool to see for sure. And, you had the opportunity not only to play the Senior Bowl, but you were at the NFL Combine. What was that like?
The big stage, man. It was fun. Honestly, I will tell you, though, it's nerve-wracking. It's a bunch of tests, man. It is, the whole thing in itself is a test. Just you waking up early, it's like a hurry up and wait mentality because you go do the physicals, you get pulled on and prodded on by, 6 different rooms, and you gotta wait and sit and just not do anything, and then you go through it, and the actual work of it is so quick, and it happens like that. And most of the time, you're just waiting. You're not doing anything but waiting. So it's kind of funny. You're just sitting there like, all right, well, I'm here. What now? You just sit right here and wait for 5 hours, and then it'll take us maybe 5 minutes to do what we really need to do, and then you can go wait some more. But the whole opportunity itself, man, it's a blessing. I was blessed to, get the invitation, and, I loved every second of it. Even though I just had to sit there and wait, I waited with a smile on my face because so many people wish they could be there. And, like I said, those are one of the moments you just got to cherish, man. And, you get to meet a lot of the coaches, you meet other players that are going through the same thing that you are. And you realize that, a lot of these guys, I knew and I grew up with, and they're friends, man. And we're still chasing our dreams at this age, and that's really neat, man. And we're all blessed. We're all blessed.
Yeah, I mean, man, I totally hear you. You totally have the right head on your shoulders. I mean, Alexis and I can clearly tell. It's honestly, it's hard to transition to the next question because, I mean, you're just so, down to earth. We could literally just have a conversation. It wouldn't even really be an interview. I just think, we could probably talk forever. But with that being said, we talk about your process. We talk about the Senior Bowl. We talk about the Combine. But then comes the Pro Day. And, I just want to get your thoughts on that because, it's not just you there. I mean, there are so many talented Georgia players in this draft, as always. And, what is it like, pretty much kind of a send-off there? What is it like having that last day with, your teammates? And how do you feel the Pro Day went for you?
I feel like Pro Day went well for me. I didn't run as fast as I wanted to, and I know, that kind of hurt me a little bit, especially with the draft coming up. Teams are wondering if I am fast enough. But, in my opinion, the measurables do matter to a certain extent. But, if you turn on the tape, it's who you are as a player. And game speed is definitely different than the 40. You know what I mean? When you're in a game, you're not worried about, am I about to run this guy down at like a 4-4? You know what I mean? You're like, I'm about to go run and hit this guy, get him on the ground when you're playing defenses. And, and it's not, am I going to run that fast? I'm about to go catch him right now. You know what I mean? I'm about to, go do what I have to do and do my job. And coaches, I know people, get beside themselves when, they look at these numbers and stuff like that. But, I know what kind of players all my boys are because I've played with them. I played with them 4 years. I've grown up with them. And I know who they are as people, and I know what their mindsets are, and I know where their hearts are, and I know that they would give anything for this game. And I think Pro Day, some people that have been, kind of under the rock and been overlooked definitely got their moment, and they did well. And I'm excited for them. I'm excited for all my brothers, man. And if I could play with them on the next level again, I would do it all over again. I tell all these coaches, they say, who would you best, pick on your team, from Georgia? And I say, man, you can take any one of those guys and put them wherever you need to be, and they're going to do what you ask them to do because that's what we do at Georgia. It's a family. It always will be. Even after us, it always has been. And we grind for each other. And it was kind of bittersweet. You know what I mean? I knew that our chapter at Georgia was coming to an end, and I knew that, after the combine and definitely after Pro Day, that, everyone else would be kind of on their own path. And, you don't want to be selfish, but you got to be, you know what I mean? Because the next level is grimy, and you are your own entity. You're basically your own company in a sense, and you have to make sure you feed into your brand and feed into who you are so that people can know you. When you're at a university, whether it's Georgia or any other school, the school is the brand. It's not you as an individual person, and I think that's the biggest transition. And everyone knows who I was at Georgia, and especially in Georgia. Maybe dog fans all throughout the state, but people don't know me outside of Georgia, and that's what you have to show people. When you get to an NFL team, even though when you go to those organizations, you're part of that organization, but there's so much individuality of it because you're your own brand, you're your own market. And I'm just excited for all my boys, man, building their own brands and becoming their own people and, stepping into that next phase of life. It's exciting for all of us. And we'll still all be in touch because that's just what we do. I just talked to one of my best friends, earlier that we've been playing football since we've been kids.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think you're spot on, and everything you said I think was really wise and definitely insightful for sure. And just watching you as a player, I think that you have a lot of strengths, but I'm just curious to know, in your own opinion, what is your biggest strength as a player? My effort. My hustle. Like I said, I've been looked down upon, I've been beat up on, you know what I mean? But the realest thing I can say is, you can take $20 and you can run over it, you can step on it, you can ball it up, you can spit on it. But at the end of the day, it's still $20. It doesn't lose value. It's the same value. And, as people, we go through things in life and you don't lose value as a person, though. It's all about how you respond and how you live throughout your experiences and grow and become stronger. And I feel like, my life, I've been doing that, and I don't answer to anybody but God and my mama. But, I think my effort, man, I think, when I go on the field and I step on the field, I don't care who's in front of me, and I don't care what's happening. I don't care if they get a 70-yard bomb and, I'm on the 25. I'm about to try to run and get that. I want to go make that tackle 75 yards down the field. Like, I don't care. And that's just how I am. I hunt on the football field. And I want a piece of everything. And that's just who I am as a person. And I've always been that throughout life, whether that's, in the classroom, whether that's been on the football field or just me doing anything. I'm always hustling. I'm always wanting more, and I'm always wanting to go get it. I've just been a go-getter.
Yeah, no, I definitely hear you there. Probably answered my next question. So why don't we transition this over to kind of the fun question we'd love to ask defensive linemen. Who do you most want to sack at the next level?
Man, I'm going to say Tom Brady, man. I got to. That's the legend. That's the GOAT. And I got to
Have you been listening?
I got to get one at least, man. I need to get him in the book. But I that's the one I most want. But I honestly want a piece of everybody, man. I want to get as many sacks as I can, and I want to have fun doing it. I just want to hunt. I just want to affect the quarterback and definitely get these guys on the ground, man. There's crazy athletes going into the draft right now this year, and there's already crazy athletes in the NFL, man. Tom Brady is definitely one of those guru guys, and he's just a freak, man. He's literally like a sensei of the game, and to get him on the ground would definitely be, one of the biggest moments, other than when I was in college, like I said, get Baker Mayfield on the ground. I got so many pictures of that, and I've signed so many signatures on the pictures of people getting them printed out, and I would definitely, print a picture of me sacking Tom Brady out and put it in my house.
Oh, absolutely. It would be, that's by far the most popular answer we get for that question, and rightfully so, because, it would be, as you mentioned, it would be such an accomplishment. He doesn't get sacked very often, but also, he's the GOAT. So, to be able to say that you sacked him would be incredible for sure. But, we are a Los Angeles Rams-based podcast, so we ask every prospect that comes on our show, have you met or spoken with the Los Angeles Rams yet?
I have. I actually just, before you guys called, I just had to get to call and verify my information, and I actually met with my agent today to talk about some teams that were kind of like my A-list teams that really liked me, and the Rams have been one of them the whole time. I met with them at the Senior Bowl. I met with them at the Combine and did formal interviews. I interviewed with them at the Senior Bowl, and they've been kind of on my radar, man, and Aaron Donald is one of my favorite players as well, just because, we have the same body type, and, he's definitely got me beat right now on the abs, but I'm on my way. I'm on my way to it. But, I'm 280, and, he was a guy who wasn't necessarily overlooked, but, many people didn't think he would be doing what he's doing now, and he's definitely changed the game as a three technique, and he's a hustler, man. Most of his sacks and most of his plays, he does beat people at the line of scrimmage, and he does get too, if that's in the cards for me. I want to be a student of the game at that level, and that was one of my biggest, things that people ask me, what team do you want to go to, where you care where you go. I said, I want to go to a good locker room where I can affect, and bring, my mentality and my mindset in there, and not be arrogant or nothing like that, but just be who I am, because I know, that I'm a natural born leader, and, I've had to accept that, and that's been my role as a person. I've led through experience, and I will continue to do that. But, I'm not always the smartest guy in the room, and if I am the smartest guy in the room, then I'm in the wrong room. So, I want to learn from other people and soak up as much knowledge as I can, and, he's becoming, he's a phenomenal player, but he's a great role model to not necessarily model my whole game after, because I don't want to be somebody else. Like I said, I want to be me, but I can definitely learn a lot of things from him because he's been doing it for so long.
For sure. You're spot on, and, about Aaron and, the things you said about him, obviously he's a guy we're familiar with and who we love for sure. And we're so excited to hear that there's been a lot of contact between you and the Rams, because we are such big fans of you, and obviously are big Rams fans as well. So we would love to see you end up Los Angeles Ram. But I know I can speak for Jake on this. We're going to be fans of you no matter where you go, just because we think you're awesome, and we think you're a very talented player and are going to thrive in the NFL. And hopefully it's with the Rams, but if it's somewhere else, we're going to be following you for sure. So just to wrap it up in your own words, we just kind of want to know, who is Jon Ledbetter, the person, and who is he as a player?
Okay, as a person, first and foremost, I'm a man of God. I'm not perfect by any means, but, I know that when I wake up every morning, I can only control what I can control, and everything else is in his hands. So I'm a man of God first and foremost. I'm pretty flamboyant. You know what I mean? I'm a people person. You can put me in a room with anybody, and I'll talk their heads off, man. But also I like to listen. I'm a man of integrity. And then as a football player, I'm a dog. I'm not only a Georgia dog, but I actually am a dog when I step on that field. And anything goes in between those lines, 50, 100 to 100. I'm on everything. So you probably just are best. Kind of coming with your A game when I'm on that field because I'm gonna give you everything I got, and I'm gonna leave it all out there. I'm not gonna have anything in the tank when I'm done. And I'm a fighter, man. I've always been a fighter my whole life. I've had to fight tooth and nail for everything that I've wanted, and that's how I've got it. And I wouldn't want it any other way because that's when you cherish things the most.
Yeah. John, I'm going to be real with you. You've blown Alexis and I out of the water, so it's kind of hard to even follow up with what you're saying because it's like we have questions and you answer. You must have gotten the questions ahead of time because you answered questions that I was going to ask during your answer to the first question. But man, it's been an absolute pleasure. It's been no, for real though, it's been an absolute pleasure. We really enjoyed having you on. I'm glad we got you on. So much better than just talking to you for 2 minutes while somebody had their voice recorder up my nose at the Senior Bowl. So really glad we were able to do this. Appreciate you taking the time. I can't stress enough. I know the draft is literally right around the corner, and you took time out of your busy schedule to come on our show. We really appreciate that. No matter what helmet you'll be wearing, whether it's Rams logo or Patriots logo on or whatever, we're gonna be fans of you no matter what. Like Alexis said, and man, I wish you the best of luck. You stay healthy, and let's keep in touch.
Thank you, my man. We can definitely do that. I appreciate you guys for having me. I've enjoyed myself too. Having good conversations with good people, man. That's all I'm looking forward to, man. And thank you guys again.
Of course. Yeah, definitely. Take care.
You guys do the same.
All right, joining us on the show, we have South Carolina cornerback Keisean Nixon. How's it going, man? Thanks so much for coming on.
It's all good, man. Doing good.
Awesome. And, just to start this off, we just want to hear a little bit about how you got into the game of football.
I've really been playing my whole life. Grew up in Southern California, so just been playing since I was 4 or 5 years old. Never stopped.
That's awesome, man. And, growing up, did you have a football player in the NFL that you looked up to?
Not really. I just like the game of football, really. I mean, I kind of look up to anybody in the NFL, really.
Yeah, and, you started your career as a JUCO guy. You played at Arizona Western College. What was the process for you in choosing them, and then how would you describe your JUCO experience?
Well, when I was coming out of high school, Arizona Western was a good junior college program. So when they offered me a scholarship to go to, that was a no-brainer. It was about 3.5-hour drive from LA, so it wasn't too hard of a decision to make. The process there was, it's what you make it. I feel like I made it the best way I could. Left with as many scholarship offers as I wanted, as a thought. So, and I just chose the right school after that.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, you obviously go through that JUCO process. What made you choose South Carolina as the place to transfer?
I just felt comfortable. It was either, stay home, go USC, UCLA, or go to SEC. That's all the decision was. So I wasn't really feeling the vibe from UCLA or USC. So I just chose to go to SEC, and I felt more comfortable playing for Coach Muschamp and Coach Travars Robertson.
Yeah, and during your college career, I'm sure you have a lot of favorite memories or plays or games. But is there one memory that stands out to you, or a game or anything as being your favorite?
Definitely the win against Ole Miss this past season. We had to go down to Mississippi and play a hard-fought game and get the win. So that was definitely a big one for me.
Yeah, of course, and it must be pretty crazy. I mean, obviously South Carolina, you're going in the draft. Rashad Fenton is going in the draft, and of course Deebo Samuel. What was it like to play with those guys, and kind of, have you guys been connected throughout this process and maybe preparing together?
I'm not preparing. I mean, we're all from different places. Rashad's from Miami. I'm from LA. Deebo's from South Carolina. So, but yeah, I talk to the boys almost every day. And going against Deebo in practice every day was a big help in me getting better. Rashad, it's like my brother for real. So, I mean, I just can't wait for both of us to see where we're going to go and end up. It's rare for two corners on the same team get drafted at the same time. So, it's a big deal.
Yeah, for sure. And, Jake just mentioned guys like Deebo and Rashad who you played with who are very talented, but you also played against a lot of talented players in college. Is there any one guy who stands out to you as being the toughest guy you to go up against?
Toughest guy? Not really. I just felt like every day, every game, you had to bring everything. So it didn't matter for me. It didn't matter if we was playing Vanderbilt or we was playing Georgia. I mean, every week we had to bring it.
Yeah, that's really a good point for sure. I mean, obviously you played in the SEC, so a lot of these guys are, top notch. But, I want to get your thoughts on your Shrine Game experience. I mean, what was it like to kind of go down there and just the whole process in itself, and how well do you think you did?
The Shrine Game process is, I mean, it was a good process. I mean, I didn't practice or play or anything in the game. I just went down there and did all my interviews with all the scouts and talked to GMs and stuff like that. So, but the experience was good. I got to meet a lot of people from different schools, different areas, with different way they grew up. Just like helping me, get out of my comfort zone and talk to new people.
Yeah, for sure. And you had your pro day. How was that?
Pro day went great. Turned a lot of heads. Feel like it benefited me a lot, and I feel like I did great.
Yeah, and Keisean, when looking at your game, what would you say is your biggest strength?
My game, probably physicality, explosive.
Yeah, and, as the draft approaches, is there anything you're looking to improve on?
Just whatever team drafts me or wherever I go, what happens, just from the next day, got to learn the playbook and get ready for camp.
Yeah, and Keisean, what's one thing you bring to the table that no other cornerback in this draft brings?
I think I'm the most physical corner in this draft. Speed, everything, I have it all. So, I mean, it's not that I just compare myself to anybody in the draft. I hope everybody makes it, but I just know what I can do. So whatever team takes me, they can get a big steal.
Yeah, for sure. And, this next question is just a fun question that we like to ask corners who come on the show. But what receiver would you most want to cover in the draft, or in the NFL, I mean?
Definitely all the top guys, AB, Odell, Julio, especially my cousin John Ross. Guys that type of caliber, just can't wait to compete with them type of guys.
Your cousin's John Ross?
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome. I didn't know that, so that's pretty cool. One thing I want to ask you, kind of sticking with this fun question thing, is we always ask corners who they most want to pick off in the NFL. Is there a quarterback that you're dying to pick off at the next level?
I mean, I feel like you get an interception in the NFL, period. I mean, every team got some good quarterbacks, great guys, but, I mean, if you get the pick off Tom Brady, you know, that means a little bit more.
Yeah, for sure. And, you know, we are a Los Angeles Rams-based podcast, and it's been reported that you had a visit with the Rams. So I guess just tell us a little bit about, you know, how that went and, you know, if you had any prior contact with them before.
Yeah, I had a visit with the Rams. They brought me in, 30 visit. It was great. I mean, I really like the coaching staff. I like the cornerbacks coach. I really like him a lot, you know, talk to the special team guy. Yeah, it was a great visit. I really liked it a lot. And plus, it's home, so you never know how the draft is going to go. But, I mean, I'd love to stay home.
Yeah, of course. And, you know, kind of just, you know, adding on to that. Did you meet with the Rams at the Shrine Game or the Pro Day or anything like that?
Yeah, both.
That's awesome. Well, we love to hear that because, you know, we are big fans of you and obviously big Rams fans as well. So we'll be cheering you on no matter where you go. Hopefully it's with the Rams, but, you know, if not, we're still going to be rooting for you. But, you know, to wrap it up just in your own words, who is Keisean Nixon, the player, and who is he as a person?
Keisean Nixon, the player. So, I mean, he's a great guy, good teammate, love to compete, play hard, and Keisean Nixon as a off the field guy, just a great dad, you know, take care of my son and take care of my family. It's number one priority.
Yeah, man, of course. And, you know, we appreciate you coming on. We're excited, you know, obviously for you. We're excited. The Rams have clearly shown a lot of interest. And, you know, we wish you the best moving forward. Hope you end up in L.A. regardless of where you go. We're going to be rooting for you. So, you know, best of luck, man. Let's keep in touch, Keisean.
All right, thank you.
Yep, have a good one, Keisean.
You too.